Okay, you've been holding a while. Appreciate it. Kevin in Canada, you're on the air, then Matt in the UK, and others. So go ahead.
So, Alex, I got a beef I want to settle with you. So the beef that I have is I've been listening to you for 17 years, longer than I've even known my wife. I think I got a pretty good read on you. The problem is your operation is starting to seem more and more like a church, where there's tons of preaching and money-making, but not a lot of change. And before you respond to that, Alex, I just want to say one more thing. Jesse Ventura, Larry Pratt, Max Kaiser, whenever they are questioned about you, they don't stand behind you like you stand behind them.
Well, I don't even care what people say bad about me. And I've heard Jesse say a lot of nice things about me on different shows and things. So, and I've heard Kaiser say a lot of nice things without me even looking for it. But if someone attacks someone on one of my views, I don't expect them to defend something that they disagree with. But look, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, and I'm going to come back to you. But I'm going to try to respond to what you just said. None of us are perfect, number one. Number two, I cover the issues and try to give people knowledge, believing in you that you'll be able to check out the info yourself, learn even more than I know, and then go out and affect change. I have trailblazed alternative media. We have reached hundreds of millions of people total, and we promote liberty. But for people to say you've never fixed anything, Alex, or you haven't come up with some master plan to reverse everything, I'm up here saying don't authorize designer babies. I'm up here saying let's get rid of abortion. I'm up here saying it's not good to finance a war in Ukraine. We helped stop the Syria war. Even the Syria government said that. Even our own corrupt government said that. Now 20 kids have polio-like illnesses out in California. May become thousands, folks. It's in the vaccines. We're going to cover that. That's just some of it. Black pastors want Holder impeached. Okay, let's go back because he asked this question. We were up against the break. I responded to it. He said he has a beef with me that this show is more like a church. And I did just spend 45 minutes speaking out against cloning and genetic engineering. A, because we don't know where it's going. B, because the elite admit it can cause mutations down the line. And C, they've been caught Trojan horsing things. I'm here criticizing George Soros, funding overthrows overseas. I'm just here trying to cover real news. To cover false flag terror attacks, to cover the Boston bombing being staged and have our reporter take over press conferences. That's stuff you get killed for. I got death threats over that, and so did Dan Badandi. Serious ones. And I'm not calling for people's support or thanks, but, man, I work 18 hours a day many days, and I've been doing this 19 years. And, I don't make any apologies about the fact that I drive a nice Ford F-150 pickup truck, and I live in a decent house, and I wear okay clothes, but I don't worship materialism. It's not my God. It's way down the line on my pyramid of hierarchy of needs. For those that know what a hierarchy of needs is, up at the top is helping others and building a better civilization and spirituality. At the bottom of it is housing and clothing and heating and cooling and things like that. But I'm more than happy to be criticized by anything legitimate by the caller that's been listening 17 years. Kevin, I think we've had some real success stories with this broadcast, and I think we've gotten better over time here on air at really articulating a lot of serious social issues that need to be discussed and debated. I'm just trying to get people to realize that reality is a lot deeper and wider than what mainstream media is trying to project. But set me right. Explain to me how I'm a church. Explain it all to me.
Well, first off, thanks for letting me respond, because you literally could have let me go. So thanks for letting me respond.
I love being criticized. It's actually boring to be thanked. Tell me, though.
Yeah. And secondly, remember, I'm a 17-year listener. Everything that you've ever talked about, I listen every single day. Everything you ever talked about, that goes into my brain. So I'm not. Well,
I think after 17 years, people get irritated with something. I get irritated with myself. Maybe you need a break from the show. Maybe you should do your own show.
That's actually funny that you mentioned that, because I was thinking the same thing for you. And the reason why I say that is because if I'm a 17-year listener and I'm starting to lose a bit of faith, There must be a reason why. It's not just because I'm listening.
No,
every
it's
day.
because you start associating me covering the problems with the problems at a subconscious level.
Well, I think it's actually a little bit more than that, and you're probably right. But I think what it has more to do with is I know you're right, and a lot of people do as well. But for the last 17 years, if you had to measure your accomplishments or your trophies by either what you've done to change, whether it be drone killings, whether it be poisoning the water, if you had
We're
to
actually
compare
getting
that
fluoride pulled out all over the place, but I don't deserve but a small part of that credit. See, I totally disagree with you. Most people know the Federal Reserve's private now. Most people know there's a world government now. I mean, people didn't know any of this 15 years ago. And if you ask the average person who got them thinking, they will tell you Alex Jones. I don't know how you can say we're a failure when we've been a raving, wild, exploding success, or to quote Robert Duvall in Network, a big bleeping hit.
you were a failure. In fact, I think you're missing what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is the people that you should actually be reaching out to the most, the ones that have been listening to you for 17 years, not 3 years and don't have a job. I work every single day and even on the weekends, but yet I still listen to you. My friend, you just have to have a little bit of patience and just hear what I'm saying. You're listening to a guy who takes heat from his wife because of the amount of time I listen to you.
Yeah, but you're mad because you're awake and not living in the Matrix. I didn't do that. Right now, let's go back to Kevin. Kevin, I'm going to give you about a minute to quantify your criticism as a 17-year listener, exactly what you're getting at. Go ahead.
Great, I'll make it quick. You keep pushing the mute button there, so I can't actually get out what I'm trying to say. But I'll make it. Hey,
hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. Now, see, you had about a minute or so before we went to break last hour. You had a couple minutes of that short segment, and you're on air right now. Are you? Hold on, put him on hold. Now, that's not a fair intellectual discussion. I'm not hitting a mute button on you. I don't have control of this phone call. They're airing it in there. Now, I just told them to turn you down so I could talk. That's a fake intellectual argument to call in and say that I'm muting you when I'm giving you about 3 times longer than the other callers have had today. Now, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and I'm watching the clock. It's going to be 10 after in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. I would appreciate if you could, since you say that Jesse Ventura, Larry Pratt, Max Kaiser all have something good to say about you in public, on TV, or some kind of video recording. If you could just give me 3 for each, that I could go look, 3 for each, and I'll go out and have a look, because you're the one that say that we're supposed to stick together and have each other's backs. And when I look at Jesse Ventura, who I look up to just as much as I look up to you, and I look at Larry Pratt, the exact same thing, and they're not backing you. That's all I have to say, Alex. You can use the rest for another caller.
Okay, so that's your criticism of me? That's why I'm bad? I mean, that sounded like high school or something. I don't follow a lot of what Jesse Ventura and Larry Pratt do because I'm busy. But I've actually heard Jesse Ventura say nice things about me on other shows. And I've actually heard Max Kaiser say nice things about me without even trying to find it. Now, I'm sure they disagree with me on some issues, and that probably gets brought up. But what is that even about? Listen, it's not my job. And I want to be clear about something here. People always tell me, hey, Alex, you're paranoid. No, I'm not paranoid when I know about thousands of declassified studies using lethal chemicals, biologicals, radiologicals on veterans, on foster kids, you name it. That shows me we've had a long-term scientific elite that Eisenhower warned us of that's doing a lot of secret evil testing on the public to set that precedent. And I know about the U.S. code that claims as long as it's for law enforcement or research purposes, even lethal testing, they claim is legal. Well, I say that's a fraudulent law in the U.S. code. It's in Title 50, Chapter 32. It bars secret testing, but then authorizes it for law enforcement or research purposes. And so I'm just up here trying to get people to think about big issues like that and all the secret testing and things that are going on. I'm not trying to sound popular. I'm not trying to say what's palatable for the establishment. I'm not trying to go along with the system's talking points so that the system will put me on air. I am trying to build my own media system, and I'm trying to be as true as I can to the truth and to try to be as accurate as I can with all this research and information to really tell people what's going on in the world. And I think if you go back to what I was saying 17, 18, 19 years ago now on air, you will hear those old shows. We ought to re-air some of those from like 15 years ago. And it is like I was in a time machine breaking down what was going to happen. But I'm not in a time machine. The globalists are very public about their programs. It's all a giant scientific test with them tweaking and changing, but it all basically goes in the same direction. And so I don't care what other people say about me on air. I don't care. I mean, you could take somebody like Mark Dice, who I put on the map. He's a talented guy. 8, 9 years ago, he'd do these videos and write books and stuff, and I helped him more than anybody get a niche in media as a media analyst. He's got, I guess, an RTF degree. And then he got mad at me a few years ago and basically made up a bunch of stuff and attacked me. And then after his attacks failed, after about a year, I said to him, the prodigal son, I said, you're doing a lot of really good work. And I said, I forgive you. And I just did all this to show you a life lesson. And as I mature more, I realize it doesn't matter if people deny me to other folks when they're under pressure or they buy into the Cass Sunstein, attack system of, Alex Jones is being attacked. I'll be popular if I attack him. I'm being attacked because I'm on point. I'm being attacked because I'm on target. And if you're over the target with a bomber, you're going to have flak. You're going to have the big guns firing at you and then exploding rounds that send shrapnel out. So I fly into the flak. If I'm not being attacked, if I'm not getting controversy, if I'm not being demonized, I'm not doing my job. And it's that simple. And I'm here to get people out of their comfort zone. I'm here to shake people out of their trance. And if it was shocking to a nation of zombies, even mainline conservatives, to have me yell and scream at the BBC or yell and say this isn't a game to Piers Morgan, you notice in hindsight, everyone says it's one of the best moments in TV ever. That's all over the news the last 2 days. People say it's a defining moment. I had a major publisher call me yesterday and some media analysts, and they were saying, we believe that's when the tide turned in the debate on the Second Amendment was when we just called it all out. And I'm not giving myself credit, but folks, when you're under attack and the enemy is flagrantly violating your rights and nakedly stomping around, playing patty cake and being soft-voiced about it is a recipe of slaves. But I'll be the first to tell you I could do a better job. In hindsight, a lot of times when I hear my show or when I make a mistake. But it doesn't matter. I'm in the arena doing the best I can. So I've learned to just move forward. And I think it's good to get some criticism sometimes. It's good. But at the same time, it becomes a distraction and there's never really any meat to it, or there's made up rumors, or there's, all this other garbage. If you hear somebody not back me up or say something, you talk to them. Don't talk to me. I'm not my brother's keeper. Okay? And that's what it comes down to, is that I'm here to try to promote other people that have interesting ideas to get people thinking. I'm not here to promote myself. I'm here to die if need be, because I want to live forever through my progeny. I want humanity to succeed. I care about the big game. I care about the long-term goals. I'm alive. It's that simple. All right, we've been making people hold way too long. Matt is in the United Kingdom, and I apologize for making you hold so long. But I had to respond to that caller. Matt, go ahead. You're on the air.
That's fine. Hello, Alex. How you doing, buddy? Basically, I agree with everything you're saying there. It was quite a moving little speech there. Piers Morgan last night, all over the BBC. They're ripping him to bits, bud. They showed the best bit of you roasted him. It was all you. What a milestone, what a success to get rid of him. Here's the vampire, blood-sucking vampire, reptile. Call him what you want, but you've done it, buddy, and that was down to you, so well done.
Again, it was Matt Drudge. It becomes really almost ridiculous how much I thank Matt Drudge, but he deserves it. It was Matt Drudge put a tweet out to them, and that's why they called me. And weeks after he did it, they go, no, Matt Drudge's tweet, we think it's a great idea. And then I went, that's Matt Drudge, never talking, just keeps walking, doing his magic, helping fight the tyranny. Go ahead.
Well, I think you should celebrate with a 1776 album, with all your own music, because it's good, and I wish there was more of it, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you, brother. There's so much we can do. What do you think overall of the cloning news and the genetics of 3 parents into 1 baby?
Oh, well, you're talking major ethical issues there, really. Let's be honest. I mean, the human soul is a very precious thing, and is it ethical to, factory-produce human souls? No, it's not. And that's essentially what we're going to be doing, so it opens up massive ethical debates. No, it's definitely wrong. And of course, you've got the GMO and all the diseases and everything else that comes. No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Well, that's the key. They give us all this garbage to destroy our genetics, and then we have to go to them to have kids, and then they backdoor all their changes into us to make us literally servile biological androids, in Aldous Huxley's own words.
Yeah, well, that's the plan, you see. I mean, I was doing a psychotherapy course at the local university, and they were teaching behaviorism. We're all animals, and it was that's the mainstream.
We have no free will, and it's all stimuli. The truth is, they want our free will. They want our soul.
They want to enslave us. They want your soul, and they will deny the human spirit. They deny determinism. The only way that they can control you is with psychotropic medication. If they treat you like an animal, we're not animals. We have that animal nature, but we have part of the animal brain, but we have the conscious mind. The animals don't have that.
And we have the ability to change our environment and envision things. Exactly. Beethoven's not an animal. Vincent van Gogh's not an animal. We are an incredible divine species made in the image of the Creator. We are made by the Creator of the universe. All the evidence shows it. We're an advanced technology created by the Creator of the universe. We are a conscious technology that God experiences the universe through us as just another manifestation of our Creator made in God's image. And these blasphemous control freaks know that full well. And that's why they want to attack the creation, my friend.
That's right. I agree. Watford. I was at Watford. You were the boss. Oxford. How do they get tickets?
I've asked the guys for that, and they sent me. I think it's for Oxford University and faculty members only. But we need to find out. I think there's a way you can call them and see if you can get in. But yeah, I'm speaking in Oxford coming up, the 12th of March. I'll be back in Albion, the beautiful Isle. We'll be right back. And we are literally just hurtling through deep space at hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, staring out into the void, comets, shooting stars, all the life forms, all of it. I mean, it is just incredible. Consciousness is just totally over the chart, amazing. And I'm telling you, these mummies like Hillary Clinton and these mummies like the people on The View and just all of these nobodies and Eric Holder and Hillary all kissing all over the new MSNBC host and the pretty boy, and all of it means nothing. Nothing. And these people are not gods, and they will not attain the life extension. They're going to get none of it. They will be destroyed in their attempt to destroy humanity in their incredible selfishness. And I know that in my gut as much as I know that my brain has literal sensors in it to pick up the magnetic lines of this planet, now proven in humans. It's in geese. It's in everything. The sixth sense has been proven as magnetic. All of it. And there's so many other senses we have. We're so much more incredible than these scum tell us we all are. I'm sick of them telling us we're scum. I'm sick of them telling us we're weak when they're the scum. I'm sick of them telling us we need them. No. They need us. They're parasites. Let's go to Simon in Florida. Thanks for holding, Simon. You're on the air. Then Duke.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, bro.
Hey, man, you're absolutely correct. When you're on target, that's when the enemy attacks the most. I'm Simon in Florida. I broke the story about the Florida unemployment website glitches, and I just want to talk about Deloitte, the company who actually designed that website. Deloitte, I'm just going to read a quick paragraph for you, okay? Deloitte has been involved in the auditing of some of the biggest banking institutions over the past several years.
Yeah, they're the new Arthur Anderson.
Yeah, leading up to the financial crisis. They were found to have been deeply involved in obvious securities fraud that involved fake mortgage assets. Taylor Bean and Whitaker Mortgage Corporation, looked that up. The sharing of confidential information on several occasions. They were busted for being involved with clients that were caught money laundering, HSBC, for example, and they paid settlements of undisclosed amounts for their fraud involvement. Deloitte has been involved in so many scandals that make your head spin. In February of 2007, the Federal Reserve of New York's board extended the contract of international auditing company Deloitte Touche Tohmatsu Limited. The future Treasury Secretary at the time, Tim Geithner, was president of the New York Fed at the time.
And by the way, they're tied into the NSA, too.
Even though Deloitte violated the New York banking law, Statute 3610, by disclosing confidential information of other Deloitte clients to Standard Chartered, and that was just the tip of the iceberg, Deloitte's interests here in Florida are protected by one of the most powerful lobbyists in Tallahassee, Brian Ballard, who is a major campaign fundraiser for Governor Rick Scott and the other GOP officials. So you got to imagine he's up for re-election, and that whole thing, all those people that dropped out, not getting paid for 6 weeks, can't file, the numbers came down. When they came down under 7%, they were able to drop the federal extensions. So all these people drop off, the unemployment numbers come down, and Rick Scott looks great.
Sure, they're gaming all the unemployment numbers and the inflation numbers, everything. It's as phony as a $3 bill.
Well, they $283.4 million in contracts in Florida alone, and they did this in 3 other states. Well,
that's the thing about a technocracy, is it allows them, with the high-frequency trading, all of it, to game things to a whole new level.
Wow, it's just unbelievable.
I'm here to warn people. You keep telling me to shut up. This isn't a game.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Duke, thanks for calling from Oklahoma. Go ahead.
Thanks. I'd like to talk about a couple of things that I found out on GMOs and the police state. On the genetically modified foods, I've taken it upon myself to go to these grocery stores and talk to the managers to find out if they even know where their food comes from. Well, 8 out of 10 don't even know where their vegetables come from. So if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. The other thing I'd like to talk about is the police state that we're finding ourselves in. Oklahoma has found themselves $13 million in unpaid parking tickets, and they've got a new program with the marshal's office going on where they literally kick down your door, knock down your door, and come in your house and take you to jail over a parking ticket.
Continue. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I just had a glitch for a minute. Back up 10 seconds.
Well, on the police state, Oklahoma City's found that they have $13 million worth of unpaid parking fines.
Oh, yeah.
So they have made a connection with the marshal's office to beat down people's doors on these parking tickets.
Oh, I know. They now send police, even SWAT teams, for parking tickets and things. They arrest folks for no seatbelt. It's all about getting us in the system.
Well, on the news, they're not showing that. On the news, they're showing one marshal knocking on your door real politely. But I have a friend that just got thrown in jail, and when he answered the door, they threw him down, took him to jail, and went in his house unlawfully while his wife was in bed naked.
Of course.
And I'm just a good old country boy at heart. I'm just like, I think
that's not what goes on in a free country. Our police are internationally trained and controlled. They're out of control. They're training like an occupied army, and they've got this attitude that they're keeping us safe. No. At the top, Homeland Security, staged major terror attacks. It is a criminal group. Go ahead.
Do they not know that we're preparing to? I mean, I don't have children. I'm not married. I am not going to let someone molest my home or my property without fighting for it. I mean, I'm just not that type of guy.
Brother, they're bringing back debtor prisons now that are even illegal. They don't care. They still throw you in jail in Illinois. I mean, this is a lawless takeover.
They won't take me alive. I'm not that type of person. I'm a good old boy, and I believe in good morals and values. I believe that I am a good person. I do not like to see people suffer, but I am not going to take this kind of crap on my property, especially.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And that's why they're getting armored vehicles and gearing up. They want a war with us so bad they can taste it. And not even the average cop, but their bosses are people that want to teach American school children 2 + 2 = 5. Literally. I mean, that says everything you need to know about these people. They are the scum of the earth. Anything else, Duke? What was your other take on the GMO? You had something else to say?
Well, on the GMOs, we've got a couple natural places around in Oklahoma City, Sprouts and Whole Foods and everything, and I've gone to even them, and they don't even the managers have no idea where this food comes from. They cannot tell you where it comes from.
Well, a lot of it's certified, a lot of it isn't, but a lot of stuff at Whole Paycheck, Whole Foods is not non-GMO organic, but a lot of it is. It'll actually have numbers on it, and it'll be listed. But I hear you, and I appreciate your call. And again, folks, it isn't like they cross 2 squash to make a better squash with open pollination with a hybrid. This is where they go in and fundamentally change the plant. And a lot of these things are plants that grow their own pesticide off of bacteria toxins or fungus toxins. And they argue, well, this fungus normally occurs in corn. Yeah, they boost it 1,000 times with the BT Monsanto corn. There's other varieties. They take it and boost the toxin 1,000 times what sometimes naturally occurs and is a natural pesticide. It's a symbiotic relationship with the corn and other plants and the fungus or the bacteria, depending on which one it is. And then if bugs eat it, they die, folks. And then we're eating it. It's a pharmacological crop. Look it up. 15 years ago, they were growing live HIV in corn. Open air in Texas. That's what's going on. They can grow chemicals in corn. They can engineer corn to grow Coca-Cola in it if they want. That's how neat plants are. Look up pharmacological crops. They can do anything. We're not in Kansas anymore, folks. We are in the advanced 21st century. The year is probably about 2045 right now, technologically speaking. John in Michigan, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex. I was calling mainly because, we were bought at a price, and so we cannot become slaves of men, and, government, as I see it, is just man, so...
it's systems of extraction, systems of enslavement, systems of authoritarianism.
Right. And mainly, I've had this idea for a while. I don't know why everyone doesn't, file suit towards the IRS, mainly because for stealing our identities. Everyone, has throws a lot of words around, citizens, person, all this, but the legal, definitions, there's 3 different definitions for the term United States. There's the country, the United States, and there's the federal zone, the United States, and then there's the collective states of the Union, And, the same thing turns to what a citizen, we're not citizens. If you're born in this country or your parents were, you're a national. You're a state national. You're a member of your state. And
That's right. That's right. Originally, you were a citizen of your state, and then they had for a mutual defense combine the federal government.
Yeah, and it's sad because a lot of people don't grow up learning any of that, and also.
Sir, the average American doesn't know that the Earth orbits the sun.
It's pretty insane. Main person I think you should have on the show too, Deborah Tavares, because she's the smart meter lady. Silent weapons for quiet wars.
I think we've had her on a couple times. Very, very interesting lady, John.
She's very even into this taxation stuff. But I think we should file a suit against the IRS for stealing our identities. I mean, because most people send in the 1040 and they admit to being residents, and we're not residents.
Plus, you violate your Fourth Amendment, your Fifth Amendment. You waive your right to incrimination. I appreciate your call. Money Magazine's done, and others have done 30, 40, 50 different tax returns. The same tax return to different CPAs. They all give you a different answer. And again, it was set up in 1913, the Federal Reserve. That same week, they passed the IRS Act. It wasn't even widespread implemented until the 50s. It is a tax to offshore banks, and that's just an absolute fact. Ronald Reagan's own commission found in 81, not 1 cent of the IRS money goes to run the country. It goes to interest on the debt to offshore banks, which the debt only gets bigger because that's how they control us. Just like banks don't want a farmer to ever get out of debt. I mean, this is really 101, folks. And old-timers knew this, so we couldn't be enslaved. I mean, we are so enslaved, it is just unbelievable. Clinton, Ohio. Clint, you're on the air.
Hello, yes, I'm calling because of the Teddy's Law that I emailed you about. I emailed The Blaze, I emailed Coast to Coast. And
all right, well, tell me about the law. What is it?
That was the Teddy's Law where they were going to have CSB come into your house if you wanted to homeschool and inspect.
Oh, yeah, that was that's in Ohio.
Right, I emailed you, and the next day you covered it, man. So as far as anybody saying you don't change anything, that law was gone in 2 days. We had people from the Philippines, from Canada, from Romania, from Israel, Germany, and the UK all call that senator and say that that's ridiculous. So I know you always have adults calling up and saying you stuff. So here, this is for the future generation, man.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you, Mr. Jones.
So you did do something, man. Don't let anybody tell you. And there's the kids. That's what it's all about.
Beautiful. Anything else, Clint?
Nope, that's it. Keep up the good work, man.
I will, brother. Imagine the horror of being Clint, where they're going to send CPS to every homeschooler's home to open a criminal investigation that you're an abuser, or make you get a teaching certificate to be able to homeschool your children. That's the final domino, folks, coming for our kids. Doesn't matter the homeschoolers win all the spelling bees, all the geography bees, that they're sought after by colleges and get full tuitions and scholarships. It doesn't matter that statistically they're not all screwed up. And again, homeschooling really isn't even homeschooling. There's these giant communities of homeschoolers. It's people that want out of the system, and that's what's so good about it. I mean, my parents were naive. They were really good people, but they grew up in the 50s. They put me in high school in Dallas, and it was unbelievable. The sex. People are like, oh, that sounds fun. No, it wasn't fun. The fighting. The drugs, which I never got into. The corrupt police. The meanness of the people. The persecution of nerds. The cliques. And I was like an animal in high school. And so I was oblivious to it all and didn't even know that, I'd been basically the most popular person in school because I was just completely like a mad dog, just not in a bad way, but like an animal. I was just, didn't even click into any of it and didn't follow anybody's style, didn't go with any of that, and saw the disdain by the cliques and things and all told them they were scum to their face. But even though I was super popular, I was in high school 3 years in Dallas because I was in so much trouble one year where I had to take off half the year, go work on the ranch. And then 2 years in Austin. I came to Austin and just kept my head down and, ended up making straight hundreds and just got out of school. But I didn't mean to get off into myself and say, I was popular in high school. My point is that it was a bad experience. It was a really bad experience. It was empty. And I just cannot imagine throwing my children in sixth grade where kids that have flunked 4 grades who are really 14 and you're 11 and they're beating you up. I mean, gangs beating you up. It's got to be 100 times I was beat up before I started literally just stomping the hell out of people. But my whole point is that, and I guess it made me who I am today, but I would not want that on my children. And I'm not knocking my parents. I know they listen. They were old school, coming with black eyes. Well, you just better be tougher next time. And that wasn't some macho bravado thing. That's just what old-time Texans are like. That's how my dad's dad was to him. But it's just a different world, absolutely different world. These public schools are hellish, ladies and gentlemen. Some of them aren't that bad in rural areas, but my God, big cities, man, might as well just put your kid in a juvenile hall. It's bad. And the problem is you beat up one gang member, you got to fight the rest of them later. Then you beat them up, and you got to beat up their big brothers. Then you got to beat up their ex-con, older cousin who's 25 years old when you're 16. I mean, that's Dallas for you. You're at a Sonic and somebody comes out of the back of a truck with a knife trying to kill you. I mean, it's just animal land. I tell you, one thing I like about liberals in Austin, Texas, at least it's changing now because all the Dallas folks are moving in and stuff, is that people don't kill each other all over the place. And I really don't like getting in fights with people. I really don't like everybody got something to prove and starting trouble because, I mean, I've had enough of it, a lot of it. Let's go ahead and talk to Ray in Texas. Ray, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, how are you doing, man?
Doing
Long time no talk.
Yeah, brother. What's on your mind today?
If you look up KVUE, man claims DPS falsely arrested him. I'm surprised that you haven't put my video on there, man. You actually have somebody fighting back that knew his rights, that knew the laws.
Well, I must have missed it. Tell me, it's KVUE. That's local TV, and in Austin.
Man claims DPS falsely arrested him.
Okay, I haven't seen that video. What happened?
There's 2 videos on there. And the police violated, I believe it was 8 of my constitutional rights, and I believe they committed 120 felonies amongst the 6 officers.
Okay, well, I haven't seen the video. What happened to you?
Well, it's a long story. I need to sit down and talk with you about it, dude. I mean, it's a long story, but they committed so many felonies in the jail, and otherwise, just like the bond, they violated my constitutional right by, it should have been like a $200 bond, which actually it shouldn't have been anything at all, but they gave me an $8,000 bond.
Well, let me tell you, the state of Texas, I was talking to a friend and he showed it to me. I want to do a piece on it. He has a 1993 Chevy Silverado that's worth about $3,000 on a good day in the Blue Book. And he went in to get license and registration because he bought it from his buddy for $3,000. And they told him this thing is worth $57,000, even though all the books show different. And we want something like $12,000. And they laughed at him and said, go get a state appraiser. Well, he can't find a state appraiser. And when he goes in, they all laugh at him. And that's happened to everybody I know. The states are just robbing everyone. And if you get arrested for, not having your driver's license on you or whatever, when you get there, they'll do all these fines and fees. Yeah, I know the government's just gone to seed. And the government's been told, raise taxes over and over again, or raise taxes or you're going to go bankrupt. Well, no amount could ever keep us from going bankrupt because they want us to go bankrupt. But listen, a caller called earlier and said, thanks for calling. Thanks for covering how they tried to ban homeschooling in Ohio. Okay, I'm glad I saw that and covered it. I remember covering it. But, I mean, I'm not omnipresent, bro. I don't know about your case with the DPS. You say you're surprised I didn't cover it.
It's just somebody that stood up to them and fought back and is winning.
No, I know, but, I mean, do you understand that I didn't know about it?
No, I understand. You have a lot on your plate.
No, but you're saying you're surprised. I mean, so you're winning. How are you winning?
We won our 12B6 against the APD.
Well, that's good. I'll look up your video. I appreciate your call. This hour was brought to you by MyPatriotSupply.com/Alex to find their specials. MyPatriotSupply.com/Alex. Non-GMO, great customer service ratings. It's who I've chosen to use. You need to be prepared and not be dependent on the system. I think that's obvious. MyPatriotSupply.com/Alex. Secret U.S. government watch list forces companies to place hold on orders. Australian David Jones told his order had been delayed due to the name being flagged by a database. A secret U.S. government watch list is forcing companies to place orders on hold in case they want to grab them and put spy tech in them without warrants. According to an Australian named David Jones, whose name was flagged up as suspicious when he tried to purchase computer parts. After Jones processed a innocuous order with Element 14, a large distributor of electronic and computer parts in Australia, he arrived at the company's trade counter to pick up the goods, only to be told that his order had been placed on hold. Well, the NSA admits, it came out with Snowden, that they reroute stuff worldwide to put spy tech in it. After confirming that the hold was not due to his parts being restricted or suspicious anyway, Jones was told that it wasn't the parts that had been flagged, it was his name that had been flagged. See, all commerce is tracked. And it came out in the news yesterday that the TSA pre-screening thing is, quote, under fire because it's like the NSA. I think that was AP yesterday. That's what I've been saying day one. It's an NSA scandal, folks. It's they're tracking everything you do before you ever even leave your house. And that was the winning video. Make me air the winning video tomorrow. I never announced the winner. I was supposed to announce that last week. That's how punch drunk I am and how busy. We'll announce the winner. In fact, we'll announce the winner today. And then I'll play it tomorrow. but it deals with that. And then continuing here, Nets refuses to report latest Obamacare fail. 2/3 of small business employees see premiums spike. Fred in Canada, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Jones.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all right.
I see you're very relaxed today. That's good to see you're relaxed for a change.
I am a little bit relaxed. My life's so insane. Why not?
Hey, why not? It's always good to take one day of, this one day to relax for a minute. The reason why I'm calling is because I discovered you about 9 months ago, and then I took a trip to Beirut, Lebanon for about 8 days. I had to go for a wedding. And I suggest that anybody who doesn't know what's going on in the world to get out of it for a minute and then come back to it and realize what you have. Because we truly don't understand the freedoms that we do have, even though we are slaves. We don't realize how much freedoms we have until we go somewhere and they're completely taken away from you. Because when I was there, all I felt was fear. All I felt was I felt like a literal slave. Like the movie 12 Years a Slave, that doesn't compare to what I went through in those 8 days. Like, honestly, I would have much rather someone whip me. At least I know who my master would be. I'd rather that than go somewhere and be
describe what it was like to visit the Middle East.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? The first day I got there, the next day there was a car bomb in a supermarket, or it was a clothing area to buy clothes. 2 girls that were best friends were buying dresses to their prom or a school dance, and they both got killed. For what? Like there was no prime minister, there was no political influence. They just wanted to kill people. And in all honesty, it was the Saudi Arabians that are trying to do this. As a child,
our loving allies, as usual, we support whoever's most horrible.
Oh yeah, obviously, but. As a kid, I was always told that as a Lebanese person, you're going to be persecuted your whole life. They want you for your land. They want you for your water. They want you for your natural resources. That's not true. They want us for our oil. Apparently, there's this huge oil basin underneath the Lebanese grounds, and Israeli government right now, as we speak, are in the oceans of where you can barely see close to Cyprus, drilling the oil out of Lebanese soil. So what they're doing now as we speak through the media, through television, through everything, my wife is full Lebanese and she watches all the shows. Every show she ever watches, all they talk about is, what are you still doing here? They're trying to push mostly the Christians, because they know if they keep the Muslims there, they'll just eventually kill themselves out. But they want to take all the Christians out because they know we're the ones that fight. I'm not saying that, this as a Christian. I'm a very open-minded Christian person. I have a lot of best friends that are Muslim, and I think that...
No, I understand, but Christians are being persecuted. Interesting, Fred. I'm going to take one more. Sorry to Jay, Jeremy, and Chris. I got time for Dave in Michigan. Dave, go ahead.
Alex, brother. Kevin, you're an idiot. It comes from upbringing. Your parents are probably idiots too, Alex. If you ever have a kid that acts that way, I'll disown you. Brother, sometimes I want to beat you up, but most of the time I want to give you a big fat hug. You asked the other day, what are people doing to stay out of the system, to resist? We moved. I'm legally blind. Thank you, brother. You and my brother Gordy helped wake me up. I got my wife to move out of the city. We moved into the country on 10 acres. We got solar. I'm fighting them, trying to keep their lying butts. They told me my net meter would be analog. They lied. It isn't. I wouldn't let them put it on. It's still not on. My meter's spinning backwards. It's awesome. I support your sponsors. Longevity saved my life because you reintroduced me to Doc Wallach, and I am telling you, you are winning. Your info war is your legacy.
Oh, brother, it's all of you, the listeners, that make it all possible. You're the people that spread the word and support us. We couldn't do it without you. God bless you. And keep fighting, Dave. Sorry to everybody else. Back tonight, 7 o'clock, InfoWars Nightly News. And back tomorrow, Lord willing, 11 a.m. Central with a weekday transmission. Now get out there, stand up against tyranny, spread the word, and let's ban these designer babies.